lights are in. Fans are installed. You can see the fans with the little screen, drain screens for you know, protection. I've already tested them, they work. You know, the lights are in. You got, you know, the dual stage lights, and these are going to come on at different times. So it's going to start out, you know, like early morning, kick on, and you know, just a couple of them will come on, and then the others will kick on sometime later. So yeah, other than sealing some cracks, touch up a little paint here or there, make sure everything's kind of cleaned up and ready to go. We're not far from being done. See, there's a few little areas down there I got to get in and caulk, kind of, you know, give it a little bit more watertight. This, if that's a word, water tightness, and then we'll be ready to get the substrate. Got the glass, of course. You know, I got to clean up, you know, like this little push out here. That's just something that's got to be done. One thing I did do, and I've been doing this, you know, in my last few builds, or a few of my builds, not every one of them, but kind of have a gap here, or not a gap, but have a gap to clean this out, and also recess the glass, so there's, instead of it just kind of butting up against something, it actually goes in behind it. And you know, I usually put a little weather stripping here to kind of give it a little bit of a cushion when the lock goes on, to kind of, you know, seal it. So I'll add that video. But yeah, got this thing wrapped up this afternoon. Basically, it's ready to come off the rack and finish out. Like I said, a little touch-up paint. I did design this back where I can take it all apart if I ever decide to, but hopefully I won't need to. I may pop a drain in at the bottom, put a little bulkhead for a drain also, in case I ever need to rinse it out. So that'll be figured out here in the next day or two. So I'm actually ahead of schedule. I expected to be, you know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks doing this, but being able to work on it this past weekend, pretty much all weekend, really helped. So yeah, just a little break here in the video to show this point. Man, this thing was kind of ratty and beat up, and now it's a I would say furniture quality looking piece. There's a couple little things that, you know, I may, you know, have rushed and could have done a little better, but all in all, proud of it. Anyway, back to the pictures. We got this thing inside, doing a little bit of the foliage and substrate at the moment, and you can see I've got this, man, I've got this old 1,000-year-old piece of driftwood, which is, it's shaped like it was originally a root of a tree, and I'm planting this this little plant kind of up in the base of it. Hopefully it'll grow, we'll see. If not, you know, so be it. We'll you know, replace it at some point. It's kind of hard to get these plants to grow. And then this is sedge grass, which I've got in my other enclosure, and I've still got some more substrate to put in. It's going to be a little deeper. This is probably 6 inches or so. This is a male, and I'll probably end up with about 10 inches to a foot in here. And it's going to be sloped, of course. It's going to be higher on one end and kind of slope down, and then, you know, we'll add some other pieces of enrichments, and got some great wood vine, a few other little pieces of driftwood. You know, I'll probably try to get the ice pod colony set up in that root. I think that would be great for them. Of course, I'll water these plants pretty often because it's going to be so hot in here. So yeah, starting the substrate fill at the moment, and you see that board right there, that's kind of the top level It's 12 inches to the bottom. So if I hit that mark, great. If not, a couple inches short, I'm not going to sweat it too much. But yeah, hopefully we'll have him introduced into this thing today when I get done with all this. And we'll get some video, hopefully, of him going in for the first time. And the finished product, of course. So I will be back shortly. Alright, so just kind of finished getting the foliage and all the little pieces of vine and some driftwood. I got a couple other pieces I'm going to throw in here too. They're just out in the garage. I got to go get them. I'm going to put them in. Water bowl will go right there in the center. See some mondo grass I planted. And then of course that sedge grass, which is kind of big. We'll keep it trimmed if it lives. Hopefully it'll live. A few more little climbing pieces. Of course there's a cork bark tunnel there that kind of runs underground and pops up there, and then further back, then one that runs up. And I always play around with these things. I add things, take things out, change things up, give them different things. Probably try to get my my isopods when they come in set here in this root. I think that'll be a good spot for them. I've packed a lot of sphagnum moss in there and some dirt, and probably get them to kind of hang out in that old piece of driftwood that's like 1,000 years old. So the only thing left, I need to put a little desert sand, some red stuff in there, kind of give it a little bit more of an Australian desert feel. Put the glass in, let it warm up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to throw my guy Kaya in here. It's my little male Ackie that I picked up recently. So it's a little bit of a more wide angle shot. I know I've said it a couple of times. This thing is 64 inches inside, wide, like 30, almost 40 inches high, and 26 inches deep. Was the the diameters or the measurements before I started building everything. So yeah, almost done. Put a little sand in, warm it up, and I think we'll be ready to add my guy. Be right back. I dig it. Alright, so here's the finished product. Plants are in, all the little cork barks and pieces of vine to climb are in, glass is installed, pretty much ready to go. So before I add the animal, I just want to do one last quick little view and see some of the enrichment stuff that's in there. Again, that piece of driftwood is like, man, it's got to be 100 years old, and it looks like it was the bottom of a tree at some point because the way it kind of flows out. I buried half of it so that he can dig around and explore the nooks and crannies. Got some cork bark buried that runs along and has a couple little openings for tunnels. Over here, the substrate runs up and is higher on this end. You got this big sedge plant with a couple other pieces of enrichment, buried. Some driftwood, of course, a little water bowl. You can see some mondo grass planted in there. In a few places I've got it sprigged in. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just regular maintenance of these things. Sometimes you have to pull dead plants out and replace them. The lights there's basically 2 stage lights. We've got some heat lamps that kick on at different times. So the first lights kick on about 7 in the morning, and it'll be about 2 hours later the next set of lights kick on, and then those lights will shut off around 3 in the afternoon, maybe 4. I think I set it to 4, and then the others will kick off around 7. So it'll hopefully simulate, you know, early morning sun, and then it gets hotter during the day, and then starts cooling off. It's not perfect, but I think it'll work. Of course, we got, you know, some fans running in the background, and you know, that'll help with controlling the heat. And those things are set up on a switch, so I can go high, medium, low, and kind of adjust them. This is very similar to the other build I have that my other little Accie's in. I think this one's actually maybe just a little bit wider, maybe a little taller. I mean, they're close. It's actually, don't pay attention to the house. I've been rearranging cages and furniture. But so this is Alkira's enclosure, and it's the same thing. It was a cabinet, like an outdoor cabinet next to a pool, and she's got a lot of the same amenities. You see her back there. She's out. Oh, I woke her up. Hey, lady. But she loves her enclosure. She explores all over. She's got her basking, you know, that happens in her cork bark, and I move that stuff around every once in a while. Spray it down pretty often. So yeah, and you know, we put lemonade over here on this wall where we had this bookshelf. But anyway, I'm getting off track. And of course, I built this thing because I knew I was going to put it next to this barn house build that I did that's been real popular. This is the old, you know, 80-gallon aquarium that I refurbished. It couldn't be used as an aquarium. The glass was so stained and messed up, so I just, you know, built that out, made it look like a barn house. And of course, this is very barn house-ish as well. So, and always heavy-duty casters. It's easier to move these things and roll them around and get behind them. So yeah, next step is to grab my guy and throw him in and see how he likes it. So that's coming up next. He's in his enclosure. We'll offer him a mealworm and just see if it's a worm and see if he's hungry. Hadn't ate today. Grab the head first. Oh, there you go. Good boy. And straight into the cork bark. So some of this is out of the cage he was in, the temporary cage. I pulled the cork bark and such out. He was already used to it. I even pulled a lot of the substrate out, so some of the smells and things are hopefully familiar to him. But he's in, and we're going to close the glass and back off, and let's just see if he'll explore a little bit, and I'll record hopefully some of that. See, this comes out there at the bottom. So he's down there eating his mealworm. So let's close it. Give him a little bit of space. Yeah, and I'm super happy with how this turned out. And by the way, if you don't have one of these, you should really look into getting one. You know, a lot of my animals, you know, have sliding glass doors, and or a lot of my enclosures, and cleaning the tracks are crazy sometimes. You know, I used to try to vacuum it out, but I bought this off Amazon for like $10. It's a little blower. Makes quick work of it. It's got 2 speeds and a flashlight. So, yeah, just figured I'd throw that in there. So let's back over here. See if it comes out the bottom. Again, this is my juvenile Ackie, my little male juvenile Ackie. She sees the mealworms on the floor. It's like, hey, bring those here. You've had enough, Fatty. She can literally see the mealworms that I was using to coax him out. She's watching him. Crazy. All right, so I'm gonna stop this and wait and see if he comes out and runs around, and then I'll try to get a little video of it. But pretty much completes this build. It's a wrap. Really like it. Matches the motif of this other build, and even the lemonade stand a little bit over there, which is one of my favorite builds. It's an actual lemonade stand that I converted into my my yellow Jerry males. Aromatics enclosure. His name is Lemonade, by the way. So, okay, he's peeking out the top. Come on out, buddy. Come on, Kaya. He was in a 4x2x2 temporary cage that I kept, so for new animals and, you know, a backup cage. So now this is 64 by 40 tall by 26 deep, I believe, were the exact measurements. So about double the size of what he was in, and of course it's got all the, you know, the realistic rock ledges and plants, and you know, so it's a little bit more swank than what he's been in. So yeah, I'm gonna just try to get a little video of him running around, checking it out. Till then, this should wrap up the Ackie Hideaway Part 2 build.